हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजाः पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। Welcome back. I am so thrilled that for a whole year we have been waiting for this one episode in Sundara Kanda, which is the highlight of Ramayana. And that episode is of Hanuman ji presenting the ring of Sri Ramachandra to her. I know some of us have been eagerly waiting. I have been uh, very eager. So here's that situation today. Let's look at what is going on in the conversation between Sita Devi and Hanumanji. In chapter 35, Hanumanji is trying to convince Sita Devi that I am the son of Keshari and Anjana Devi by the grace of wind god Vayudeva. I was born from the womb of Anjana. I am a Vanara. And the reason he's stressing on it and giving all of that details of how he was born is because Sita Devi is still not fully trusting him. She's worried. She's toggling or vacillating between, should I trust him? Or is he Ravana or one of Ravana's emissaries in disguise? Because she's been cheated once. And so naturally, once after being cheated, a person becomes very circumspect. They doubt whether it is worth trusting somebody. So Hanumanji has been narrating his story, and chapter 36 begins with he again and again letting her know that he is the son of Keshari and Anjana. And Valmiki Rishi hints thus for us, as in the first verse he says, Bhuya eva mahateja Hanuman pavanatmajaha abravit prashritam vakyam Sitaya pratyaya karanat. The verse tells us what's going on. Valmiki starts the chapter with Bhuya eva, again and again, or again, he is repeating these words for Sita Devi. And he's using the adjectives for Hanumanji as Mahateja and Pavanatmaja. The reason he's talking about him as Pavana Atmaja is that Hanumanji is impressing upon Sita Devi that he's actually the son of Vayudev. So the verse is Bhuya Eva Mahateja Hanuman Pavanatmajah Abravit Prashritam Vakyam. So the word that we are going to focus now for a few minutes is Bhuya Prashritam Abravit. We all know Abravit means spoke. Bhuya spoke again. But not only did he speak again, what's important is how did he speak? Prashritam. We all know the meaning of the word ashraya or ashritam. So prashritam means in a very humble and meek manner. He cannot become arrogant or powerful or force the idea on Sita Devi, because she who's doubting him will doubt him even more. Now, humility, the reason Valmiki is impressing upon us is prashritam vakyam, because humility inspires trust. Arrogance inspires distrust. Generally, you will see people who are very arrogant about themselves. Most people will have I'm not so sure. But those who are meek and humble become trustworthy. Unfortunately, even if they are putting out an act of being humble, they become trustworthy, because humility by nature is a feature of trustworthiness. So a great person can be humble, while a fool can be arrogant, because a great person knows that they don't know much. A fool who doesn't know anything thinks he or she knows a lot. And one who thinks they know a lot becomes arrogant. Now, the same sentence can be understood differently. So the first way is to say a great person can be humble and a fool can be arrogant. Conversely, a humble person is a great person and an arrogant person is a fool number one. And this prashritam is what is very endearing about Hanumanji. Is there any doubt of his greatness, of his capacity, what he can do, his learning, his physical capabilities, his mental capabilities, his intellectual capabilities, his knowledge of grammar and the Vedas? I mean, in any dimension, he's superior to anybody. Yet the most endearing quality is that any time you see Hanumanji like this, either remembering the name of Sri Rama or standing in front of Sri Ramachandra. And now the two fantastic verses which set the whole scene for today. Now that he's been speaking humbly, he is telling her something else. And these are the verses I sent you on our WhatsApp group. So please refer to them. Vanaroham mahabhage duto ramasya dhimatah ramanamankitam chedam Pashya Devi Anguliyakam. Vanaroham Mahabhage Duto Ramasya Dhimatah Ramanamankitam Chedam Pashya Devi Anguliyakam. Pratyayartham Tavanitam Tena Dattam Mahatmana Samashvishihi Bhadram Te Kshina Dukkha Phala Yasi. Lovely, lovely verses, the shining verses of Sundara Kanda. And Sundara Kanda has many shining verses, so each one is considered a jewel. We're going to break this down word by word and relish it, just like you get a very ripe mango. And the very ripe mango, the best way to eat it is to either cut it into pieces, or some mangoes you just can't cut. There is so much pulp that you remove that place where it connects to the stem and slowly suck in the juice and relish it. It has to cover the palate, it has to cover the tongue. You feel the sweetness, you relish the depth of taste in it, etc. So that's what we will try today. Literally, the verse means, O Sita Devi, I am a Vanara, the messenger of Lord Ramachandra. Please see this ring that has the name of Ramachandra inscribed on it, O Devi. Please become pacified. All glories to you, or may you be blessed. All your sorrows have come to an end for sure, because this ring has been given by Sri Ramachandra for you and brought here by me. First, let's glorify Sri Ramachandra. Hanumanji uses the word Dhimatam. Dhimatam means extremely wise. Sometimes said very intelligent, which is also true, very wise. Sri Ramachandra's intelligence and wisdom is so extensive and deep that Hanumanji is saying, I may be referred to as Buddhimatam Varishtam. Among all the intelligent beings, I am considered the supremost or the superior intelligent being. But I too, even if I'm Hanumanji, I too cannot fully fathom the depth and the range of Ramachandra's wisdom. So there must be a particular reason why he sent me here. That's an appreciation for Ramachandra's Dhimatam nature. And then he says, Aham Vanara cha Ramasya Dutam. I'm only a Vanara. As I mentioned to you earlier, Sita Devi, I'm the son of Keshari and Anjana, and impregnated in the womb of Anjana by Vayudeva himself. Now, you may think that I am, after all, only a Vanara. So it does not matter if I am just a mere monkey. What matters is that I am Ramachandra's emissary. Dutoham Ramasya. Sri Ramachandra can empower anybody to become his messenger. In fact, a nobody like me. And who is with Ramachandra? Great personality, Lakshmana, Sugriva. Ramachandra doesn't need anybody's help to send this message to you. But for some extremely wise reason, he has sent me to you. These are the inner meanings of the words, okay? To become his messenger. And what can Ramachandra's empowerment do to anybody? They can make them something very fascinating and powerful and accomplishing, even if they have absolutely no qualification. And if Ramachandra withdraws his empowerment, even a fantastic scholar, a strong person, a vastly intelligent person becomes a nobody. We offer prayers to the spiritual master, who's the representative of Sri Ramachandra, as Mukam Karoti Vachalam, Panghu Langhayate Girim, Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. The kripa of a guru is so fascinating and something that cannot be logically understood, because the guru's empowerment can make a mukam, a completely muted person, a dumb person, Vachalam, very prolific in their speech, very articulate in their speech. Pangho means one who's crippled. Langhayate girim, and they can jump over a mountain if required. That is what empowerment or kripa can do. And so Ramachandra has sent me. I am Vanara, but Tutoham. I am Ramachandra's messenger. And then he says, Rama Nama Ankitam Anguliyakam. This is the ring that is inscribed with the name of Sri Ramachandra. Generally, on this verse, the Acharyas comment extensively on the glory of the holy name of Sri Ramachandra. Now, most of us who are on this call have heard, continue to hear, and I'm sure will hear vast amount of wisdom and knowledge and realizations on the holy name, because as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, our entire uh, foundational philosophy is on the chanting of the holy name. And that is what the Yoga Avatar Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all of his associates came to give us for Kali Yuga. Krishna Varnam Tucha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadham Yagnair Sankirtanam Praye Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. So a person's intelligence is measured by or recognized by their connection with and taste for Nama Sankirtana. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I recommend that you find classes and seminars on the holy name and completely absorb yourself in that. But we'll touch just a little bit. Sri Ramachandra's name, or the Supreme Lord's holy name, is more powerful than Lord Ramachandra himself. Now, one may say, really? How does that work? That's the glory of the holy name. We know, we've heard this verse, it's a foundational verse. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta Abhinnatvam Nama Naminaha. The holy name is non-different from the personality. When I say Sri Rama, I am referring to that Sri Rama who has all those qualities of Rama, and therefore his name and he are absolutely one. So Abhinnatvam Nama Naminaha. And that is what we take on when and keep in the front of our consciousness as we chant the holy names every day. That just by saying Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, I am actually in the presence of the Supreme Lord and his energies. Yet, or while they are exactly the same in identity, but they are not as far as accessibility is concerned. The holy name of Sri Rama and the personality of Sri Rama are exactly the same in identity. But we use the word but to distinguish in this sense, although on absolute level distinctions don't matter or don't exist, but at the same time, but accessibility of Ramanama is a lot more and easier than accessibility of Sri Rama himself. Now, for example, just take it in the spirit of the Ramanama glory. It doesn't mean that we are saying anything less about Sri Ramachandra, but that's the glory of his name, which he also describes. In this case, Sita Devi is feeling a pang of separation from Ramachandra. Where is Ramachandra? In Kishkindha. Where is Ramanama? In Lanka. So the accessibility for Sita Devi of the holy name is far more than Ramachandra himself. He is not there yet. Then he says Anguliyakam, this ring. Now this ring has many Keli pastimes. Keli means the pastimes of conjugal love between Ramachandra and Sita Devi, which coming up soon. We'll see further. But the interesting thing is, nowhere does Hanuman give the ring to Sita Devi. Because giving is a gesture like this. He holds it in his palm, and that is indicated by the word Pashya. He says, please see this ring. And Pashya Tena Dattam. That's the distinction. When he is holding it, he says Pashya. But when Ramachandra has given it, he says Tena Dattam, given by him. And Anitam, brought here by me. Now, is that important? Is that necessary? The answer is yes, because Hanuman actually doesn't have the spirit to give to Sita Devi. He's holding it in his palm and telling her, please take it. Now we're going to speak only about Hanuman and Sita Devi in their spiritual identities in the Leela aspect for now. We'll talk about Tattva in a moment. By offering it, Hanuman's hand is lower and Sita Devi's hand is higher. Because Sita Devi, who's the consort of the Lord, can never be a taker. She's only a giver. And a giver's hand is always higher than the receiver's hand. So she is called the Shakti of the Lord. So when we pray to Tulsi Devi, for example, we refer to Vishnu Bhakti Prade Devi. Prade, she is the one who gives and we receive. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani is glorified as Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. He is the one who gives Krishna Prema. So that in the spirit of, so Radharani is always the giver. Srimati Lakshmi Devi and Sita Devi are always the givers. They can't take, there is nothing that they can take from anybody. Another is the sensibility of Hanuman. He is very attuned to his nature and identity as a servant. So even in the smallest gestures, he cannot assume a higher position than Sita Devi. So his humility is not intellectual. It's in the core of his being. Therefore, he says, Pashya Rama Namankitam Anguliyakam Tena Dattam Anitam Maya. Anitam has been brought here. Now, in one sense, you could twist it a little bit. When he uses the word Anitam, brought here, it's not clear who brought whom. One way we can say Hanuman brought it here. Another way is that the holy name of Ramachandra brought Hanuman here. Anitam, brought him here. Now, he uses the word Dattam when referring to Sri Ramachandra, but Anitam when it's coming from him to her. Now, from the Tattva perspective, when Hanumanji plays or is representing the role of a guru, and Sita Devi is playing the role of an aspirant, a disciple, or a student wanting to connect with or have a relationship with Lord Ramachandra. Even in this case, the living being, all of us, has an innate relationship with the Supreme Lord. Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishnera Nityadas. That is our identity. That is our ontological, actual spiritual identity. So there's already a relationship. And the spiritual master plays the role of reconnecting us back in that relationship. And Prabhupada was asked, Swamiji, what are you here for? What do you want to give? He said, I'm not coming here to give anything. I've come here to only remind you of what you have forgotten. So he says, Rama Namankitam Anguliyakam. Rama Nama. He's playing the role of the Guru who's bringing the name of Sri Ramachandra to that lost soul represented by Sita Devi. And because he has brought this ring here, he refers to her as Mahabhage and Devi. Mahabhage. She is the consort of Sri Ramachandra. As soon as she's seeing the ring, all her divinity is manifest. So she is referring to her as the effulgent personality, Devi or goddess, who has no shortage or lacking of anything. She's fully transcendental. Bhaga means fortune. Devi is goddess. So when he calls her Mahabhage Devi, he's calling her Sri Mahalakshmi, or that very intimate consort of the Supreme Lord, the goddess of fortune. Literally, Devi Mahabhage is the goddess of fortune. Anguliyakam. So what's the story with this ring? Why is this ring so important in this situation? So first of all, whose ring is it? And the answer is, it is Sita Devi's ring that has come back to her. Someone may say it is Ramachandra's ring. In one sense, yes, but it is Sita Devi's ring. What happens is, in general, at the time of wedding, especially during Pani Grahana means holding of the hands of the bride and the groom. The groom presents the bride a ring with his name on it and slips it on the finger of the bride. And the bride will have a ring with her name on it inscribed and slip it on the finger of the groom. So if the ring has the name Rama on it, then it means it belongs to Sita Devi. Now, if it is Sita Devi's ring, how is it with Ramachandra? She is the one who wears jewelry. He was not wearing any jewelry. And while she was being carried away by Ravana, half the jewelry she put down for the Vanaras, so that some point they may convey to Ramachandra, and the other half is still with her. So as soon as she sees the ring, she is reminded of when Sri Ramachandra gave her the ring the first time at their wedding. But now the question is, how is this ring with Ramachandra? So in the Padma Purana, there is a story. One day, while they are in Panchavati, enjoying the beautiful forest scenery, Ramachandra and Sita Devi decided to play a game. And the game has terms for it. The terms are that you have to pledge something for the game. In case if I lose, this item will be yours. And the other person, Sri Ramachandra, says, if I lose, then this will be yours. So Sita Devi took her ring and pledged the ring. If I lose this game, this ring is yours. And Ramachandra said, if I lose the game, I don't have anything to give you. What I can give you is a nice, warm embrace. Because that's all I can have. I have right now. And that's all I can give you. And Sita Devi said, yeah, Works for me. I like it. And as they were playing their game, Ramachandra defeated Sita Devi. And so the ring went to Ramachandra. And Sita Devi, at that moment of losing this game, goes into this rapture of mana. We are used to the word mana. Mana means an expression of anger for having lost the game. And mana enhances the loving exchanges between the two. So she showed anger. The part of the anger is she wanted to lose the game so she can get an embrace from Ramachandra. Unfortunately, or whatever, she lost and the ring went to Ramachandra. So in anger, she got up and walked out of her cottage. Ramachandra wanted to give her a hug anyway, and he was following her. As soon as they came out of the cottage, Sita saw Maricha as a golden deer. And immediately her attention went to that deer. And we know the story from there on, where she insists, I want that deer. Part of it is the mana, part of it is the pastime that it unfolds, that Ramachandra agrees to pursue Maricha in the form of this fascinating, scintillating deer, and they have gotten separated. 10 months have passed, and Ramachandra, of all the things, was so, remember, Dhimatam, extremely wise and intelligent, sent this ring through Hanumanji to remind her that how much I am thinking of you. I cannot stay without you. And this is the situation that I'm constantly remembering. And for Sita Devi, just by looking at the ring, it has brought back all of this loving memories for her. And it has Rama Nama on it. And because Hanumanji is offering that ring with the name, the holy name is the only way by which genuine trust is established. Sita Devi's character is so pristine and chaste. Ramachandra knew, doesn't matter who I send, she will not believe unless she sees the name of Ramachandra in their possession. So by the holy name, genuine trust is established and developed. Any spiritualist, so this is a warning, any spiritualist, however popular they may be, however fanciful languages they may use, they do this, they're very active on social media, doesn't matter. A spiritualist who doesn't offer the holy name as a means of eradicating one's distress in this material world and a means of establishing a relationship with the Supreme Lord actually is not trustworthy. That's the difference between Ravana and Hanuman. Ravana also dressed as a mendicant, as a sannyasi, but violated Sita Devi's trust. Because when you see a sannyasi, what does the Vedic literature say? You honor them, you offer them obeisances, and you receive them nicely. Ravana, instead of behaving like one sannyasi, was exactly the opposite. Now, Hanuman is a simple Vanara, but has brought Ramanama with him. And therefore, he is very trustworthy. The holy name offered by a qualified representative does something. There are some effects. If one just chants the holy name without a proper connection with the parampara, then all of this, that the list that I'm going to share with you, may or may not happen into its fullest extent. That connection, some empowerment of that holy name, I shouldn't say empowerment of the holy name, when given from the right source or the right medium, acts in its fullest capacity. So here are some outcomes of receiving the holy name from a proper representative. Valmiki tells us in this verses that I sent you. First he says is pratyaya. Pratyayartham, for the sake of pratyaya. Pratyaya is makes a person confident. Confidence comes from relief from fear, or whatever the fear is, fear of being lonely, desolate, lost, not belonging, whatever is the variety of fear one may have, one becomes confident in the presence of, in the mercy of the Supreme Lord in one's life. The second is samashwasi, samashwasi, completely trusting. One becomes very trusting of the presence of the Lord. Remember, in the Bhagavad Gita, the very first word Krishna addressed as by Arjuna, he doesn't say Krishna, he doesn't say Madhava. The word he uses is Achyuta. Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Ratham Sthapayame Achyuta. Achyuta is one who never fails his devotees. All other demigods, devatas, somehow or the other at some point may fail their devotees. But you never hear, ever, that one who's a devotee of Lord Vishnu was failed by Lord Vishnu. Because he's Achyuta. And this Samashwasi, this trust that he will be there or he is there for me, we're used to the word Nishchaya given by Rupa Goswami. So when we chant the holy name properly and we've received it genuinely, we should see these, even if they are in small quantity, whatever, but these for sure have to manifest. Pratyaya, samashwasi means becoming trusting, and then bhadram, auspicious. We see fortune in every circumstance. In fact, even in unfortunate circumstance, somehow the devotee has the ability, the empowerment of the holy name to see that as a grace, as a stroke of mercy in somehow or the other. Now, for each one, it's difficult. It's hard. Sometimes life tests us like anything. We are wrung by life, like how you wring a wet cloth to make it dry. It's very hard. Maybe, but somewhere a devotee will be able to see some idea of how that is actually the Lord's grace upon me. They feel auspiciousness about it. Bhadram. And not only that they feel auspiciousness, they are able to show others that their life is also auspicious, having received the holy name. And finally, Kshina Dukkha Phala. Phala is the fruit. Dukkha, we all know very well. Kshina means reduction or depletion. Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. Krishna says in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. When one's merit of doing auspicious activities, worldly material punya, when they go to the heavenly planets, kshine, just by being there, kshine punye, one has to be back on the earthly realm to accumulate new karma. However, by receiving of the holy name, kshine dukkha phala, all of one's previous karmic baggage is removed. We know the words prarabdha karma, karma that I'm experiencing right now. Aprarabdha karma, that is yet to manifest. Phalam, bijam, kutam. These are all words from Srila Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion. That the aprarabdha karma is just about to manifest in the next few moments or hours or later in the day. or in the next couple of days. Then there is sitting as Bijam, which will manifest in due course of time. And finally, there is tendency, the kutam that we carry from one lifetime to another, that slowly becomes as a bijam, then becomes a prarabdha to prarabdha. We experience by the movement of time, different karmic reactions. But Hanumanji is telling Sita Devi, Kshina Dukkha Phala, all of the past karma is gone. Now, in case of Sita Devi, now in the past time, the Leela aspect, her dukkha is that she said something to Lakshmana that was not palatable. And because of which she is now entrapped in Lanka. Now, we all, as conditioned beings, in our past have said or done or thought something for which today we are in this condition, whatever that condition is. But by receiving the holy name through the medium like Hanumanji, Kshina, Dukkha, Phala, all of that we are assured has gone away. Now, where is the assurance? In the verse, he says, He, Asi, Hyasi. He means for sure. So Hanumanji is assuring Sita Devi, or Valmiki through Hanumanji is assuring us that for sure Pratyaya Samashvasi Bhadram Kshina Dukkha Phala certainly will manifest in one's life. For that, one has to receive the holy name. I didn't even get to verse number 4, but it's 9:15. Let's see if we have any comments or reflections, something that touched you, you liked it, you didn't like, you want some more conversation on it, whatever, please. Beautiful verses, huh? The next one is even as wonderful. Okay, any questions, comments? Any reflection? What did you like from today's? Yeah, go ahead, Stira.
I was just thinking, as you were sharing, that the source from which one receives the holy name, that has to be, I didn't catch the whole thing, but the has to be pure enough to give what one needs to get over one's past tendencies and sinful activities. I was also thinking further, meaning as we receive that source and we move on to our move on in the devotional path, to hold on to that source is important, because I feel that's what Krishna has ordained for a living entity to receive him. I don't know, I was just thinking, so if you want to validate or correct.
No, yeah, it's true. Hold on to here. It's a connection, it's a relationship. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nowhere in the Vedic literature does it say you receive a mantra from the guru and then you don't need the guru. You may not need on a day-to-day basis, but the regard, the gratitude, the constant reflection that, oh, by their grace today I have received this is the cornerstone of spiritual life.
Thank you.
Yeah. Something you liked? Anyone? If you don't respond, it seems you didn't like the verses. That's how I'm going to take it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Particularly one thing I liked is the pastime, which I never heard about why this string is very important. And having the whole name, Rama's name inscribed. I mean, I never heard this pastime you just mentioned, like why the ring went to Lord Rama from Sita Devi. And that
Hmm.
was so beautiful. And the significance of name, the holy name being given, it's very nice, Prabhuji. I mean, it's something very
Yeah,
touching.
that's
Yeah.
the life of every spiritualist, every genuine spiritualist.
Yeah. And I'm eagerly waiting to see how Sita Devi has received the ring and what goes
Yeah,
next. Something I'm very eager to hear about.
the
Yeah.
ring's
Thank
scaly pastimes are not done, because once she takes the ring, then she remembers different things that we will not go in all detail, but we will refer to what she is remembering at that time. And Valmiki is going to share with us. So we're so fortunate. Who knows the heart of Sita Devi and Ramachandra? And this is just their Valmiki Rishi's mercy. Lord Brahma gifted him that you will not only get a visual of all that happened, but you will know the movement of everybody's minds and hearts. Wow. And the fact
So
that he
beautiful.
wrote it for all of us. I'm so fortunate.
And thank you so much for beautifully bringing it to us, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
I'm just the, parrot repeating stuff. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It's just, actually, it's all of your uh, eagerness that makes it sweet for me. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari bol.
Thank you so much for beautifully explaining. I like the point that you told about Tulsi Maharani and Radha Rani and Lakshmi Devi. They are always givers. And I really like that explanation you gave, Prabhuji. And also you talked about Prabhupada. He says that I didn't come to take anything, I came to give. So I really like that part. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Mm.
I'm glad. Thank you,
So
Narahari, for your comment. Oh, sorry.
I just can remember that even bhakti, uh, I think spiritual master, and they come to awaken the bhakti which is already there. So somehow it reminded me of that.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Matangi Gopi.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hari bol. Somashekar, go ahead.
Thank you so much. There's just so much of lessons in this class. It was amazing. One thing which I just want to comment upon and
Yeah,
probably
please.
seek for guidance.
No,
There's
you've
a
done
very
so much
nice.
research for the Ramayana yatras, so please share.
Okay. So you pointed out that Hanumanji's humility came not from intelligence, but it was at the very core of him. That's something amazing, because I try to practice humility, but I keep constantly failing, and I'm just wondering how I can strengthen this. Is it the same doing one sadhana, practicing a devotional life? How does one develop these qualities, Prabhuji?
I
Does
wish
it?
I knew, Somashekar. I'm also struggling. Uh, but at least the philosophical explanation of it is association. We associate with humble persons, and the association is in the feature of hearing from them, because when they speak, we get to hear their contemplations, and their words will tell us that, oh, that's how a servant is. Or in their actions, you'll see the sense of being a servant of the Lord is so loud, in the sense that it is palpable, and their realizations and how they live their life. By that association, we get a glimpse of humility. And we're meant to practice, just mechanically practicing sadhana. Will it make us humble? To some degree, but not necessarily. Our heart has to participate in that relationship. The heart is the considerations, the contemplations, the feelings of being a servant, hearing about those who feel like a servant, how they conduct their lives. Now, Hanumanji is extremely intelligent. It's not like the intellectual capacity is any less, but his heart is feeling so much affection and service mindedness. That definitely comes from association, singularly. And associating means here in the heart, the person or persons that we associate with live in our heart. How will they say, like we say, oh, how would Prabhupada answer this? How would Prabhupada respond to this? How would my spiritual master or my spiritual masters respond to this? How all these acharyas, how have they responded to this situation? The humility by definition means when one acts in their true position. That is humility. So when Krishna says, Mattaf parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya, there is nothing supremely greater than me, Arjuna. That's a humble statement because it's truth. If I were to say it, it's arrogance. I mean, it's stupidity, but arrogance because it's not truth. The truth is, I am a tiny speck. If I make that statement, I am a tiny speck, I am a servant of the Lord, that's a true statement. So it's a humble statement. Humility and truth are always together. Whenever we speak something that is true, that is a humble statement. Oh, you have done something so wonderful. And if I say, yeah, that is not true. So it's not a humble statement. But the humility is, well, I actually don't. It's the grace that has made me either speak something or share something or remember something or do something. Then that's a true statement. So truth is what we pursue for humility. Is that all right, Shamasekar Prabhu?
Absolutely amazing, Prabhu. Particularly, I mean, everything was good. Particularly the aspect that truth and humility go together
Yes.
is very striking. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
All right. Here's a question. I need to know who is P4C0. Generally, I request that you identify your name or ask a question.
This is Paco.
Who?
Paco?
Oh, Paco. Paco. Your question is it because this is Kali Yuga that arrogance seems to attract trust as well, like with Trump as president? Now, let's not fall for only a one-dimensional expression of arrogance. In Kali Yuga, it is the heart that is very hard to assess because people's words may be humble, but their thoughts and actions may not be. So it's very hard to assess. Even if those who say, oh, I'm just a very low person, I'm a very simple human being, may not necessarily be humble. They may be arrogant. And that arrogant is hidden or couched as a way to feel great about themselves. But to directly answer your question, is it in Kali Yuga, people's ability to see and assess reality is completely diminished, perhaps even destroyed. And therefore, one has to use the ear as a way of seeing things in reality. So it's not just this person, it can be any other person who can be very arrogant, except their words may sound humble. So it takes humility, it takes one to know one, right? So it takes to know what humility feels like, what it means to be able to get to assess. Now, none of us can assess someone else's heart. It's impossible. That's not our job. It's not even our capacity to assess someone's heart. So to tell someone in their heart they're not humble, that's a very judgmental statement. So we rely on behaviors and speech, and we rely on consistent expression of behavior and speech. Okay, Paco?
Well, it seems that people are attracted to his arrogance sometimes, or that people can be attracted to people that seem very confident, even though they're not. That they may need to see confidence in order to feel trust.
Yeah, confidence is required, but it doesn't mean humble people are not confident. Hanumanji is confident. Any doubt? He jumped across the ocean, challenged all the obstacles. He is going to tell you in a few chapters that he can crush hundreds of Ravanas if required. So they sound boastful statements, but we know that it's not the statement, but the spirit of the statement, where it is coming from. And where it is coming from was previously stated by Hanumanji. Yatha Raghava Nirmukta Shara. Just the way Ramachandra releases an arrow, I, as his instrument, am going to Lanka. So an instrument can be very powerful. He can do anything. He's going to burn the entire Lanka down. He's going to see Ravana eye to eye and basically chastise the fellow like anything. Is that arrogant? No. So let's not confuse, let's not confuse statements, strong, confident statements as arrogance. Let's not confuse humble seeming statements as lack of confidence. So it takes a little bit more than go below the surface to know what's in the heart. And that only Krishna can guide us. Sri Ramachandra can guide us as to what, to be able to recognize something.
Thank you.
In front of Prabhupada, whatever a person, even if they acted very humbly, Prabhupada could say, that's not humble statement. Somebody wanted to sit on a tree and chant 124 rounds in a day, and Prabhupada said, that is not humility. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very quickly would tell someone that is not humility. So it requires a fuller, rounder picture. And for that, one has to work on one's own humility to be able to recognize what humility feels like, looks like, tastes like, sounds like.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Final, any comments for the day?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Radha Dasi here.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
One thing I found very interesting and beautiful was that how Hanumanji is like he is not just focused on doing his service, that okay, I need to just like do this, gain trust, give this ring, and I'm like kind of done. He's assessing when is the right time to give the ring. He's assessing how Sita Devi's heart and mood is changing. So I'm kind of like this thing is beautiful, that it's not just that my service is important. I mean, I'm trying to think in terms of like
Yes.
family members, friends, devotees, that I have a particular service on my mind, say I have to do something for someone, but are they even ready to receive that service? Is their heart and like ready to, receive what I want to do? Otherwise, I may feel like I have, oh, this is my service, and I go like, in this very whatever, tuck, 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 and do my service, and they may not be ready. And
Right.
and your last answer to your last question is, it's very difficult. It may be very difficult to understand access. Is there something that I can do to help understand, like, if the other person is ready to receive the service or not? Is their heart even like open to receiving it, or it's very fuzzy in my head? I'm sorry, my questions are always fuzzy.
Service is not just an activity that one checks off on a list. The glory of a messenger, I'm using the word messenger, you can use the word disciple if you want, a messenger, is to not just accomplish the activity, but actually learn or identify and hold on to the spirit of what is required behind that activity. Krishna said to Arjuna, Nimitta matra bhava savyasachi. So it doesn't really matter, Arjuna, whether you win this battle or not. That is already determined. But what you have to pick up is being the instrument. That is the most essential piece here. You have to understand the heart of what I'm saying to you, Arjuna. So a superficial execution is to get the activity done and miss perhaps the spirit behind it. The genuine is to learn the depth of to capture the spirit of the instruction, the spirit of the service, and execute according to time and place and circumstance and all of that. So that's the first part of it. How to assess someone's heart? The other person will give you indicators through their speech, through their behaviors, and their contemplations. Somewhere they will express their readiness. So let's say in the very direct example, you want to give someone entry into performing bhakti. But what you have to do to prepare them to that far is that they have to be able to trust you and genuinely trust you, that you are there for benefiting them. You're not looking for anything for yourself in it. And they will say, oh, I trust you, you're a good person, whatever is the expressions of trust and behaviors of trust, confiding in you. They will come and share things with you that otherwise they may not share. Dadati, pratigranati, gukhyamakhyati prichati, bhunkte bhojayate. So somehow or the other, these six will it'll hover around Shatvida Priti Lakshanam. But if the agenda is, or if one has an agenda that somehow I need to hang a bead bag around their neck, mark their forehead with a tilak, one more accomplished, now I go to the next one. It's almost like a conquest. People will read through very quickly. But the service is to benefit them, not us. We're not marking the list for ourselves. How many have I conquered? How many have I converted? No. So I'm sorry, question was fuzzy, answer is perhaps more fuzzy.
No, Prabhu, that helps. Thank you so much.
All right, 9:35. Okay, here's a nice comment. Matangi Gopi, it was very touching to hear the explanation that Rama was ready to give a hug to Sita, but Sita gets attracted to golden deer. It reminded me of myself. I'm unfortunate I've received the Lord's unconditional love and turning away from him by getting attracted to material things. Well, thank you, Matangi Gopi. It's the story of all of us. I don't know if I should say all of us, are definitely my story. But yeah, thank you for verbalizing it. So until we meet next week, let's all be eager. What Sita Devi does with the ring, what does it do to her, and what memories does it bring up? So let's wait a week. Pray to Sri Hanumanji, Sri Sita and Ram and Lakshmana, that may they grow in our hearts the eagerness, the impatience to not be able to wait for a week. This episodes completely take on our minds and hearts, that even if we're doing something else, this thing is ringing in the back. We're thinking about it, or as we use the word, ruminating again and again and again. So it goes from wherever it's sitting right now into the core of our heart, that we're really genuinely attracted to their pastimes. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.